everybody, it's Gregory Rice and we're here in Nexus back office, and right about now we're going to do the Nexus back office payroll processing. And what this is taking care of each and every invoice for all team members. That includes your maintenance technicians, your inspectors, leasing agents, and your management staff. So what we'll do now is we'll start the process, and I'm going to walk you through our Pawtucket, Rhode Island office, and you can see how a sample week's process goes. So what we're going to do first is log into back office, as I am right now, and go down to the Invoices tab there at the bottom left. Now once you click that, the system is going to load what's called the current period. Now if you see up top here it says current period, that's for this week's process. You do have the option to look back at prior periods, but in this case we're just concerned about this week's payroll. And as you scroll down here you're going to see all of these assorted invoices. So as we go down here you can see we have about 70 invoices combined, and all of the technicians' names are here, as you can see. All of the properties, all of the applicable work orders, and even the date that they submitted these invoices. So what you want to do quickly here is just take a scan and make sure that all of your team members are on here so you're not missing anybody, and also that all of the invoices look correct in the properties and that the categorized names of specialized buildings you create look good to you. So to me this looks good to go. So what I'm going to do is hit the Nexus tab. We're going to head back to that home screen and now process invoices up here at the top right corner. Now once we click that button, the software is going to tell us how many customer invoices we have and how many company invoices we have. So just to tell you folks, customer means our clients that we manage properties for. So there's 53 invoices that are going out to those customers. Company, however, are internal invoices for work that we've performed inside of our headquarters in Rhode Island. So this is something you may use in the future, but more than likely you're just going to have customer bills. This is just an additional feature that the software does offer, the internal billing functions. So once again, just a quick scroll here, make sure everything looks good to go, and it does. So what I'm going to do here is click Process All Invoices. And once we do that here, the flat rates are going to come up first. So flat rates are invoices that have a set price amount prior to the work being completed. And what I mean by that is that the owner and the assigned team member agree on the price first, and then that team member goes and performs that job. So this is usually applicable to larger scale jobs such as a roof repair, a new driveway, perhaps putting in a heating system, things that require specialized and experienced workers. So what we're going to do here is look in the flat rate description, and the team member is going to tell us what that flat rate is. And I'm going to type that in here into the complete override box and click Save. Next up again here, $225 is our flat rate. And once again, $250. And in this case, this is a maintenance flat rate. The prior three were leasing flat rates. And this one here, you could see the total bill to owner is $130 and the technician is being paid $80. So there's a $50 markup for the company, which is Nexus. Here we go, another maintenance flat rate. $825 is the total charge to customer, and $625 is what the technician was paid. So there's a $200 profit here. And once the invoice is created, the customer will only see the flat rate amount. They don't get to see how that flat rate is broken out. Here we have a refrigerator replacement. And next up we have some debris removal. Another debris removal there. And once again. Okay, and this one looks to be an electrical bathroom type work here. So 453.22. Okay, some carpentry. Okay, this one here, what you'll see is total cost to customer 125. That is correct, but the technician did not line up his description properly, so I'm not seeing the rest of the work here. However, I know this technician's work and his character, so I'm okay to go ahead and keep processing this so we don't slow down the process, but I will confirm that before I post the final customer bill. It's good that you get to see this because sometimes there are some snafus. Here we go again. The technician didn't line up his description properly on the invoice, so I'm just seeing the total cost, which is okay. I'll check that right before we do post. Here we go again. And same thing here. You can see that the description was a bit off, but I am getting the final amount here, so I'll go ahead and put that. Okay, same technician, but we do have the amount there. Okay, treat entire building for mice. That one looks good. Okay, so you can see the difference here between this invoice and the previous ones. The technician filled it out properly, so I'm getting all of the details, including the materials. Just a quick snapshot, of course, so you can see what's going on and the price. So that's a nice one I feel great about. Okay, so the system has started processing the invoices, and that means that there's no more flat rates. Okay, and now it's going to go down the list here, as you can see, starting with 208065, and now it's on to 64. It's going to whittle away down this list, and it usually takes, I would say, about 5 to 7 seconds per invoice, depending, of course, how much content is in that invoice. So it will always vary, but on average, it's extremely quick and usually about a 10 to 15-minute process, start to finish. So while we're here killing some time, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the flat rate opportunities. The flat rate work is not something that you can use all the time. It's not something you can go and change a lock or change out a light bulb and flat rate the customer. It's just not good business practice, and the customer would probably not like it. So what's going to happen is you receive a work order for something that's very skilled. Like I mentioned previously, changing a roof, maybe repointing a chimney, repaving a driveway. Okay, and there's certain prices that the market calls for these types of jobs. It's not something that you would just pay $30 an hour general labor for to replace a roof. That's just not how it works, especially in the maintenance business. So we want to ensure we're receiving the most profit as the property manager as possible to complete these jobs, but also we want to stay in line and make ourselves marketable for the future. So we don't want to charge so much at one time that the customer finds that he has to go elsewhere to accomplish maintenance. We want to find that happy medium. So our technicians do a great job of knowing what the market charges and doing that and relaying that to the customer with still providing them that great value that they want. So that's just something I wanted to point out, and you'll definitely come across that, and feel free to ask us any questions that you have as they arise. Now, after this invoice processing is complete, what's going to happen is we're going to end up at the payroll screen. So the payroll screen is every team member that's receiving some type of money that week. It doesn't matter if it's a penny or $5,000, they all will appear on the payroll sheet. Now, if they don't appear on that sheet and you know that they completed work, it's something that you should look into before you send that off to the payroll company for processing. So sometimes a technician may be using his laptop computer and his Excel may be out of date or it may have expired. And at the moment, since the invoice program is Excel based, something like that could prevent or cause a problem with his invoice submission. Now, at the moment, we're currently working on getting that web-based, so we don't have that problem. But at the moment, it's something that you could run into. So you just want to keep your eyes peeled and make sure that all of your guys are receiving and coming up on that payroll sheet. So here I'm just going to scroll down now so I can keep my eyes on the invoices here. We're about halfway done. We're approaching 29 there, and just these more left, I would say about 25, 30, and then we'll get to that payroll screen. And the payroll screen is great also because it breaks down the labor and the materials, so you can see what amounts the technicians are getting and getting taxed on, as well as the materials, what they're getting reimbursed for tax free. So it's definitely important that you speak to your technicians and let them know that if they have materials, they have to classify that on their invoice. Okay, so here we go. We have an error executing convert file name. So we're at invoice 208023, and I look up here and I tab over to the right and see that it's a paid time off invoice. Okay, so something's up there that I'll have to check on. So I'm going to click OK. So we keep it moving, and it's going to say error encountered, okay, which it just let me know. So I'm going to click OK, and oh boy, the next invoice also is giving me a problem. So I'm going to write that down, 208022, and once again it is a PTO or paid time off invoice. So I'm going to click through there, and okay, just as we expected here, the final PTO invoice is giving us a problem. So we have 3 invoices that I wrote the numbers down for that we're going to look into. Alright, so everything's running smooth now. You can see that these 3 here were the ones that gave us a problem. And what I see here is that there's no technician assigned to this PTO invoice. These 3 rather. So that's most likely the reason why the system is kicking it back, because it doesn't know who to pay that to. So it makes complete sense, and what we'll do is we'll look into that. We have the exact time on when they were submitted, so we can figure out who did it and make sure that we get their invoices submitted properly for this week's pay. So it's great that you got to see that, because errors do happen. Alright, here, so we're almost done, just approaching the end here. After the payroll is all set, what we do is we then process what's called our bill import. So the bill import will take the exact invoices that you just completed here and put them into one sheet that you could upload to Nexus front office, and it automatically creates those customer bills. So it saves you tons of time, and even an employee which would have to do that, because it's very, very time consuming. The only thing you have to do to those invoices once they're posted as bills in front office is attach the actual PDF, okay, the actual XLS to that bill so the customer can open it up and print it out if they will. That's the only task you have to do, and it's actually great that you do that because it's a final check of everything that you just did. So it's a good check and balance, as well as saving tons of time in between. Okay here. So it looks like we have about 8 or 9 more to go, and then we'll be moving on. All right here. So we're approaching 207997 with just a couple more here. And what's great is after this is complete, it's going to tell us the average amount seconds wise for processing each invoice. All right, here we go. One more to go. Oh, there we go. 74 invoices have been processed at 7 seconds per invoice. So as I mentioned before, it does vary 5 to 7 seconds, and it looks like this week's invoices had a lot of entry from the technicians as far as what they accomplished. So that's a good thing. That means that the invoices had a lot of information on them. So what we're going to do is we're going to close by clicking the close button there. And we are now right at that payroll screen. So each and every employee is populating here with their wages as well as their materials reimbursements. Okay, so it's nice to see that breakdown, and then you see the payroll balance due, which is the total amount of both wages and materials. And then something that we have, which you saw previously, was that paid time off. So you get to see the totals of all of the team members. And then here to the right, we just include the cost of doing business as far as the comp insurance, taxes, and the dollar amount based on what they made. So it's definitely a great feature, cool thing to see. And you have two options here. You can review the payroll, which will create a one-page document here that's loading right now. And essentially, it's taking this information here, and I'm just going to pull it up so you can see it here. It's pulling up on the other screen. Okay, so I'm going to pull this over so you can look at it. Here we go. Okay, so you can see it's pretty much the same information that we were just looking at. However, it's on one sheet and it cuts off the cost of doing business. This is just meant to simplify and be a little bit easier on your eyes. However, you can definitely tell just by looking here. You don't necessarily have to review the payroll. What you want to do when you're confident and complete that everything is all set is do what's called post payroll. Now, posting payroll means that you're 100% satisfied with the numbers that were submitted and everything is good to go. I still have to look at these 3 invoices, but what I'm going to do is just post the payroll so we can continue along with the video and you can see the process in its completion. I do have the ability to roll back this payroll processing, go ahead and fix those invoices and resubmit, but you definitely don't need to waste your time seeing that. I'd like to post payroll now and we'll continue on with the process and you can see how everything wraps up. So once you post the payroll, Nexus back office is going to tell itself, okay, I'm paying this employee that much, this employee that much, and it's going to get rid of their balance. And it's also going to do the bill import sheet, which you see here. So what this does is, like I said previously, takes each and every invoice and creates one sheet that you can upload to front office to post all of your customer bills. after you click OK there, it's going to tell you all of the team members have been paid in back office, not through payroll. You still have to send that payroll sheet yourself, but in back office, all of the technicians who don't have salary have been paid, and it's all set to go. You'll notice here that there's still 4 employees. These employees receive some type of salary amount, so they're always going to be on the payroll sheet because they're recurring weekly. So that makes sense. I hope it means that they don't get paid on commissions per se. They receive some type of salary, so they're always going to rest here and be on this sheet, but rest assured that they will always get paid when you click that post payroll button. So definitely a little tricky there, something to think about. If you have any questions, just let us know. So once we're done there, what I'm going to do is upload that bill import sheet to front office, which I'll show you in another video. But lastly here, I just want to go back to the Invoices tab down the bottom here where we started. And now you can see, look, current period, there's nothing in there. And that's because we successfully processed all those invoices. So if you click prior period, you're going to be brought to the invoices that we just processed. And you can see there, June 27th, 2018, which is today, everybody was paid. Okay, so I still have to check out those 3 paid time off invoices. And then lastly, we enter the bill in front office here, just to make sure that we build out each and every invoice. So once you post that data import sheet to front office, you want to grab that number and post it here. Just type it in. You can see here I can type in any numbers, and that way you know that this is a complete circle. Okay, you've received an invoice from a technician, you've paid them for it, and then you've also paid yourself for it. So it's a great feature there. You saw if I try to enter a billing number that's already in use, back office will not let me, which is a great feature. So every invoice has to have its own unique bill number, and that's meant to protect you and make sure that you're always paid down to that last penny. So once again, this has been Gregory Rice in Nexus back office, and this has been a sample payroll process.